Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. Welcome back to another meal prep. I have two lunches I'm going to be prepping. They're both like Asian inspired, so they kind of go together, but it gives me something a little bit different to have each day for lunch. Well, I'll have it twice each day this week. And then I also made some blueberry muffins just to have for breakfast. Now, all these recipes will be linked down below. I did cut them in half for my purposes, so I won't tell you the measurements or anything that goes into the lunch recipes. I will for the muffins, but as far as the lunch recipes, I'll just tell you what I'm putting in them, and you can check out the recipes down below. First up, as always, we're going to deal with the produce. So I have some grapes, some onions, some carrots, some celery. All of these are going to be for different lunches and dinner prep this week. So I like to get all that done and I don't have to do any produce throughout the week. So it's all done just like that. Magic. This is the first thing I do. And I like to have this all done. So now throughout the whole week, I don't have to chop any veggies for lunches or for snacks or for dinner. So I have my grapes, I have my zucchini and onions, which you'll see here in a second, my dipping vegetables, and then all of these in the front I have for various salads that I'm going to be eating for dinners throughout the week. So those are already done. No excuse not to have them. First up, we are going to do a Korean chicken. We're going to be making some Asian slaw. This is just some plain jasmine rice and then the chicken. I have made this chicken before, love it. So the marinade. So first up, you need some chicken. So I have some chicken breasts here. I'm using liquid aminos. You can use soy sauce, coconut aminos, whatever you like. And also some ginger, some sesame oil. I'm using this keto honey. You can substitute sugar-free maple syrup for that or just use regular honey or regular maple syrup. We need some minced garlic and some sesame seeds. So I'm going to throw all of this into a bowl and let the chicken marinate. And I'll actually be tackling the chicken very last after it's been marinating for about an hour. But you don't have to let it marinate that long. You can let it marinate for 15-20 minutes. But for me, I just wanted to get it done, let that sit while I do the rest of the meal prep. So here is the chicken all in the bowl. So again, like I said, I'm going to set this aside, let it marinate. But the smell of this is so good. Like I said, you don't have to use the liquid aminos. That's just my personal preference. But you could use like soy sauce. You could use coconut aminos. I prefer the liquid aminos and everything. I use it a lot, as you guys know. But again, that's just a personal preference. So I'm going to set that aside, and we're going to work on the slaw. So we need a full bag of coleslaw. I am so mad I forgot to put green onions on my grocery order this week. So I do not have any green onions. I highly recommend putting green onions into this. So you're going to need, again, some liquid aminos, some rice vinegar. We're going to need some more honey. Again, you can use sugar-free maple syrup. I've used that before, but I like this keto sugar-free honey. Some sesame oil. And then you're just going to put all that into this and stir it up. Again, this whole recipe will be linked down below in the description box. I did not change anything besides just use liquid aminos in place of soy sauce. I believe the soy sauce was the original recipe. So I'm going to mix that up, let it sit, and then we'll put it in bowls. Meanwhile, I just bought this minute jasmine rice. I'm the only one eating it, so just made it super easy just to make it. I made the 2 servings, although I did not use all of it. As you'll see here in my bowls, I'm going to go ahead and put these into my meal prep bowls after I cook the rice, of course. I have some of the Asian slaw, and then I just did a half of the serving of the rice. It's a half cup for the rice is a serving size, but I just did a 1/4 cup in there, and I just kind of spread it out. I just don't need a lot of rice, so that's just a preference for me. The chicken is going into the air fryer. I'm going to cook this at 400 for 15 minutes. I'm going to flip it halfway through. And this is what it looks like when it comes out. Look how good that looks. So again, I flipped it halfway through after like about 6 or 7 minutes. Then I let it cook 6 or 7 minutes on the other side. But your air fryer may vary, and you can also do this in the oven. The original recipe does have oven instructions and grill instructions. Now I need to cut up some chicken tenderloins, so I'm going to use this for a lunch prep, but I'm also going to be making a dinner this week that's an Asian chicken salad. So I want to dice up some chicken, so I'm going to dice up some pretty finely for that chicken salad so it's ready for dinner this week. And then I kind of cubed up the rest of the chicken that I'm going to use in a meal prep that you'll see here in just a few minutes. The other thing that I wanted to work on for dinners this week, going to cook up some ground beef for my Big Mac salad I'm going to have for dinner one of the days this week. So you will see how I'm going to put this whole salad together in my either daily or weekly videos. I'm kind of playing around some different video ideas, but you will see it next week. And having this meat already cooked up is going to make things so much easier when I get home from work. As you guys know, I work outside the home most days of the week. So those 3 days a week that I'm working outside the home, having dinner pretty much already ready makes things so much easier. I don't have to chop any produce. I don't have to cook any meat. It's just all ready to go. And it's just going to make life just so much easier already having this meat cut up. I have no excuses not to stick to my plan this week. The other lunch I'm going to make is going to be called a hibachi chicken. I have no idea what that means and what it is, or if it's even a real thing on an Asian menu. I have no idea, but we have lots of veggies in this, and we're going to do some fried cauliflower rice as well. I'm really, really aiming for lots of veggies this week, as you can tell by my meal plan. First up for the fried rice, I'm doing it super simple this week. I'm not doing anything fancy. I'm just going to put this cauliflower rice, which I did thaw out in the microwave. I'm going to put it in the pan here and just cook it on kind of a medium heat until it gets nice and kind of crispy. In the meantime, we're going to cook up our chicken. So I do have a tablespoon of light butter in here that I melted down, and I have that cubed up chicken that I cubed up earlier. I'm adding some salt and pepper, and we're just going to cook this until it is nice and browned up. And I'm just going to cook it just on a little bit kind of medium-high heat, just so I can get a little color on it as well. But that's all we're adding to it for now, because we're going to add in some sauce a little bit later. Meanwhile, my rice is ready to add a little bit of liquid aminos. Again, you can use coconut aminos, you can use soy sauce, whatever you like. I just add just a little bit of of the liquid aminos. We're going to stir that up, and then we're going to add in some peas and carrots as well. So I'm just adding in, I don't know, probably maybe about a half a cup, 3/4 of a cup or so of peas and carrots. So we're going to go ahead and stir that in there, and then I'm going to cook this on really low heat until everything, it just has, there's no moisture. That's kind of the secret to make cauliflower rice taste a lot better, at least in my opinion. Whenever I'm making it either Asian style or Mexican style, I let it cook as long as I can on a really low heat until there's no moisture, and it's just a lot drier, kind of like regular rice. So also I'm going to add in some sesame oil at the very end, and again, I just let this kind of cook on there on low. The longer you let the rice cook, the better it tastes, in my opinion. And sesame oil just adds such a nice flavor to it. I just do a half of a tablespoon for this whole serving. Okay, the chicken is all nice and cooked up. You see that good color on there. Now I'm using a slotted spoon because I want to leave that butter in there, what's left over, because I don't want to add any more in there when I put my veggies in there. I'm doing this a little bit out of order, I believe, from what the recipe called for. I think it called for adding the sauce and stuff to the chicken and then putting in the veggies, but I'm not sure. I just wanted to use the same, whatever oil was kind of left there in the pan for my veggies. So I am adding broccoli in as well. The original recipe does not call for broccoli, but I wanted to add in extra veggies. So I have 1 full zucchini, and I have a half of a yellow onion. And then I'm adding in a full package of broccoli. Now I did steam this a little bit in the microwave first, and this is either a 10 or 12 ounce package. I think it's a 10 ounce package of broccoli. And then we're going to go ahead and just stir this up. Again, like I said, I'm not going to add any more oil or anything. I think there's enough, or butter is what I use, the light butter. I think there's enough in there to kind of get some brown on it. And then we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper in this because we're not adding anything else besides just a little bit of liquid aminos here in a second. So I'm just going to add in the salt and pepper, give this a good stir. Now, I personally don't like my zucchini and my broccoli to be super, super cooked. I like it kind of be a little bit crisp tender, I think is what it's called. So I'm really just cooking it until the onions get nice and softened and a little bit brown. But I'm going to keep stirring it just so the zucchini doesn't get too soggy. Because again, that's just my opinion. I just prefer it not to be. We're going to add in just a little bit of liquid aminos. Again, you can use soy sauce, coconut aminos. I'll keep saying that, I know, but you guys get it. You can substitute whatever. So I think this is going to be pretty much almost done. Like I said, I want to get a little bit more color on those onions, but I want to not cook down the zucchini and the broccoli too much more than this. Okay, the fried rice is done, so I went ahead and put that in there, and I have a little bit left over that I can have later in the week to go with something else, so I just put that into a container into my refrigerator, but I have 2 of the 4 servings here. Now we're going to put the chicken back into that original pan. I just kind of took the veggies out and kind of rinsed it off so I could have no more oil in here because I didn't want my sauce to be oily. So we're adding in, again, some liquid aminos. All the measurements will be down below in the description box. I have some hoisin sauce here. Not really sure what that is, but it's always an Asian food. Some rice vinegar. More of the honey. Again, you can use sugar-free maple syrup. I always substitute them for each other. And that's it. So now you want to go ahead and stir this really well. And then I turned it down to about 3 on my heat. And then I'm just going to let it sit there, and I'm going to let it thicken up a little bit. So the longer you let it sit there, and I'm sorry, I told you guys, I do not like my new tripod. I cannot get the angles right, and my hand keeps getting in the way, and it was not like this with my old tripod. I hate this thing. I need to go back. I need to find the other one. Anyway, I'm just going to let this sit on really low heat until it thickens up, and it'll look like this. You guys, look at this chicken. Okay, so I have my veggies. Look at those veggies. So many veggies in this. I think I'll earn back probably like 2 points for this. And then here's the chicken. And you guys, it is so good. I tasted that sauce. It is absolutely amazing. Look at that. So many veggies in this. This looks so flavorful. I cannot wait to have this for lunch this week. So I'll have this 2 days. I'll have the Korean chicken 2 days. Oh my goodness, so good. Next up, we're going to make some blueberry muffins. I don't know, I just saw the blueberries in my freezer and I just wanted blueberry muffins. Now, these are not the prettiest, and the original recipe does say to make 20 of them, but I wanted bigger muffins, and I think that's why they came out looking so funky. But they taste amazing. That's all that matters. Okay, first up, we need 1 3/4 cup of self-rising flour. We need 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda, and we're going to mix that together, and then we're just going to set that aside because we're going to add our dry to our liquid here in just a little bit. So I'm just going to stir that up and set it off to the side. This is a brand new recipe for me, you guys, and I was really impressed by it. We're going to need 2/3 cup of your favorite sweetener. You can use sugar, you can use sweetener, whatever you want. I like this sweetener. 3 tablespoons of light butter. This is what I prefer to use. You can use whatever you'd want. And then we're just going to cream this together. And you want to really, really get this until it is really nice and creamy. I've learned my lesson before with baking. This is why I don't bake very often, because I suck at it, because I have no patience. And I know that when you're like creaming stuff together for like cookies or baked goods, you're really supposed to like do it until it is nice and creamy, but I have zero patience to do that, and I don't have one of those fancy like KitchenAid mixers. So it's nice and creamy now. I waited till it was done. Now we're going to add in 2 eggs, 1 at a time. Again, I don't know what the point of this is. If any of all are bakers and you tell me, like, why do you put them in 1 at a time? I notice that with every like cake, muffin, cookie recipe. Usually I don't do it, but I'm following the rules this time. But let me know. I'm curious. I'm curious what the reason is for that. I'm sure there is probably a reason, and I'm sure somebody knows, so tell me. So we're going to mix these 2 eggs up, and you can see how runny it is, and I think that's why they have the next step the way it is, which I've never seen this in a recipe before, and I've made a lot of muffins in my time. It says to add in now 2 tablespoons of your flour mixture to this, and I see why afterwards. It makes it a little bit thicker because this is a really runny recipe so far. So adding those 2 tablespoons, it really kind of thickened it up a little bit for the next step. So the next step is going to be add in some vanilla, and I never measure it, but you want to do a teaspoon of vanilla, and then I'm mixing it because I said to mix it after you add it in there. This is why I don't like to bake, y'all. There's just too many steps. And then we're going to add in some yogurt. So we need 1 1/4 cup of plain non-fat Greek yogurt. I'm going to put that in there. And measuring out yogurt like this, I should have probably just waited. I should have found out like what the weight would have been on it, because it probably would have been a lot easier. I wouldn't have had to try to measure it out in cups and stuff, because it is such a pain to try to put yogurt in cups. So we're going to mix this up now, and it gets a little bit thicker at this point, of course. This mixture comes out really thick, and I think it's because Greek yogurt is so thick. And so we're going to mix that up until it's, all incorporated really well, because now the next step is to add in your flour. So I'm just going to add in a little bit in time, and it said to fold it in, not to use the mixer to put it in. So it's going to take a little bit to do this, so just slowly fold in your flour. Now, here's a little secret that I was told by somebody a long time ago, and it works really well. So you want to save a little bit of flour when you're making blueberry muffins, because what we're going to do then at that point is we're going to add the blueberries, and these are frozen blueberries. We're going to add the blueberries to the flour, and this helps the blueberries not settle to the bottom of your muffins because they're coated with that flour. And it does work, y'all. I am not kidding. It works really well. So I'm just going to stir these until the flour is coated all over the blueberries, and then we will add it to the mixture at that point. Now this mixture is extremely thick. I'm not even kidding. It comes out so thick. It's a little bit hard actually to mix up, but just be patient, mix it up, and you will have some amazing blueberry muffins. So again, I am making 12. I probably should have just went with the 20 because I probably wouldn't have had such a big mess. But I have my silicone baking mats here that I got from Amazon. I'm filled up 12 cups. This is going to go into a 375-degree oven for 15 to 17 minutes. Now, I think because mine were a little bit bigger, it took actually 20 minutes for mine to cook, but just definitely check them. I just kept poking them with a toothpick, and this is how they came out. And I did try one, and again, they are amazing. They do have a little bit of a tartness from that Greek yogurt, so just keep that in mind. But these came out to 2 points for the muffins if you do 12 of them. Now, if you do 20 muffins, it only came out to 1 point a piece. So definitely it's up to you, but 2 points for me. I love that. And I will see you guys in the next video. Thank you so much, as always, for taking time to watch my video, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye, guys.